According to Norse mythology, the goat named, I think you just said it, Heidrun.
Yep. I highlighted it.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't mean I still know how to read it. Grazes on the foliage of the tree Lyraharder.
Lyraharder.
That is not phonetically how I would spell Ryhatter for me to be able to read that. Welcome back to the Body by Beer podcast. Hope everyone had a great holidays. Happy New Year's as well. My name is Chelsea Rhoads, and with me is my best friend, Elizabeth Hess. We're obviously shooting this sucker a little bit remote as we're spending time with family and friends and aren't quite back to the home base together yet again. Hope your holidays were filled with joy and, of course, great beer. Today's episode is brought to you by Mustard Later. Mustard Later is the craft beer community's marketing, consulting, and influencing hub. When you don't have time to catch up, Mustard Later. This week's Sipisode is also brought to you by our affiliate partner, the Microbrewed Beer of the Month Club. They drank a lot of bad beer, so you don't have to. They're also proud of their selections they've achieved online with tasting notes of every beer that they've ever featured. So feel free to check them out. We've got an affiliate link at the bottom of our description. If you scroll all the way down, click that link. It's a great way to support our channel. We'll get a kickback from them, get a membership going, and it's a great gift or a great way to explore the beer scene.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chels. And hey, everybody, I'm Liz Hess. Before we start this podcast, also make sure that you are hitting that subscribe button and leave a comment below that you subscribed, and we'll make sure to reply back to that comment. You can watch a new episode of the Body by Beer podcast every Wednesday on your favorite podcast listening platform, Apple, YouTube, Spotify, you name it. We're there. Please, if you haven't already, rate and leave a review of the podcast. This helps us get in front of more people and reach a wider audience. That is the name of the game. Okay, so as we step into this new year, we're tackling a topic that's definitely on a lot of our minds. How to balance our love for craft beer while maintaining a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, that's right, Liz. In today's episode, we're going to get into how beer can actually fit into a healthy lifestyle. I know a lot of people are going to be jumping down the dry January. It's a real thing.
I'm going to jump on that.
Yeah. Are you? I'm drinking kombucha right now. But
I actually don't have anything at the moment.
Oh my goodness, you're going to get so thirsty. We'll talk about the benefits of beer, because there are benefits. Don't let someone tell you that there's not, because they're lying. Including antioxidants and vitamins found in malt-rich varieties like stouts and porters.
Yum. And it's not just about the physical aspects. We'll also touch on the social and mental health benefits of enjoying a beer with friends and family. It's about the experience, the enjoyment, and of course, moderation.
Yep. Gotta have that moderation in there.
Yes, I'm not always good at that one. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's just so yummy, it's hard to not.
Right.
You got the calorie aspect in there. We can't pretend like that's not a real aspect. But you got to balance and stay active. We'll explore some great options like low alcohol to no alcohol. Those that are mindful of their alcohol intake and who wants to challenge themselves for the dry January. I'm not going to say I'm going to jump on that train, but I do pretty good at like moderating. I'm more of like a moderator versus a cold turkeyer personally. That's just more of my style.
Oh man, I missed the prime opportunity there. Here's my impersonation of Chelsea.
Yes, but I'm not a cold. I am cold. I have a blanket on my lap right now.
That was pretty good. No, I'm inspired by a couple things. We'll get into it. Why I want to also jump on Dry January this year. It actually really came to me during the beer and food pairing this week. So I'll highlight on that a little bit more. But we're also talking about hydration, right? Let's stay hydrated, mental health, right? We'll really emphasize on the importance of staying hydrated and not relying on alcohol as a stress reliever. That's a big one for a lot of people, for sure.
Yeah, sure.
And conscious consumption. That's a hard one.
That
Conscious
is a-
consumption or
I'm not gonna try it.
moderation. That's easier to spit out.
I can say that one. I'm not even going to try that other one.
Right.
But first, let's dive into our new favorite segment. I've been actually really enjoying these. The Ale Academy
Same.
Beer 101. Great way for people that are kind of looking to get introduced into the space, looking to kind of explore it, get a little bit more knowledge, maybe be a little bit less intimidated jumping into a craft brewery and knowing how to hold their own a little bit more. This segment's for you, and it's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And I wasn't paying attention. Sorry. I was like, clearly I could throw up an amusement park and make a carnival joke here. Those filters aren't distracting at all. All right. Let's kick it off by talking about color and clarity, right? With our eyes right away. When you pour a beer, take a moment to really look at the color. It can range from pale straw to deep black, and its clarity, which might be really clear or kind of hazy. That's got a lot to do with the malt that's being used, and it shows in the body of the beer.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially, I think the easy example that can be a little tricky is clear IPAs versus hazy IPAs, right?
Yep.
Like they're both still the same style. Like you don't necessarily see this in all the styles. Like you don't tend to have like a hazy lager. They just tend to be clear. And stouts are going to be dark. Like that just kind of is what it is. I feel like mainly you're going to see a lot of that in like the pale ale, the IPA kind of segment, depending on how cloudy or not cloudy they're going to be. Another visual, another part is going to be the head of the beer. The color tells you a lot about the malt's roast level. Pale ale, for example, might have a light frothy white head, while a stout's going to have like that creamy, more of like the tan color to it. So really good spot of like the head on the beer really does give a lot of good descriptors and helps with the smell. You get a lot of more of the aromatics coming out of it. And so you start noticing different styles having different colored heads on it. If you notice like our Body by Beer our icons, right? All of the foam on all the different beers are slightly different because it's slightly different for different styles of beer.
Because Chelsea cares about those little things. I would have never noticed. I've been like, make the foam white. You know, you need contrast. Anyway, but yeah, aroma. Yeah, the head really takes us right into aroma, as Chelsea said. You know, as a tip, take a deep breath. Right. The scents can really vary differently, right? And it's going to lead you into understanding the differences of beer from the smells, from floral or citrusy hops and lighter beers to coffee, chocolate, toasted notes, and some of your darker varieties.
Right. Yeah. And then, as most of you already know, you're going to have aroma, and that's going to dive right into flavors, right? A lot of times when you're getting ready to drink beer, you want to give it a big old sniff before you take your first big swig. It's going to help give you a lot more of the flavor profiles coming up. Each beer style has its own flavor profile. So IPAs are going to be bitter with notes of citrus or pine. Stouts are usually have flavors of like coffee, chocolate, caramel. You've got pilsners that can be like crackery. You've got like red ales that tend to be a little bit like maltier, not quite as hoppy. Lots of different flavor profiles. We'll probably do a full segment on the different styles, but that kind of gives you a good overview on general high levels of what those are going to taste like.
Absolutely. If I'm not wrong, or I deleted something, we're moving on from the Ale Academy. I feel like that was really short.
It was short. We got more. We got mouthfeel. About the texture, light-bodied beers like pilsners are often crisp, while heavier beers like porters can be rich and creamy. Part of the tasting experience. Yeah. You also have nitros you can throw in there that are really going to be creamy. Nitros are fun because they're going to be like literally creamy instead of big bubbles. They have itty tiny bubbles to make it super creamy. And then aftertaste. Yeah, you'll finish each beer. You found it? Okay. Hoppier beers might leave a lingering bitterness, while maltiers can have a little bit of a sweet, smoother aftertaste. And that's where a lot of, at least for me, when I do food pairings, and maybe you agree or disagree, but like I feel like that aftertaste is where I tend to like side on the food pairings of what that after linger is how does that complement the food?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big indicator, and everybody's palate's going to be a little bit different. But
Yeah.
in general, for our foodies and beer and food pairers out there, pairing a light, citrusy, maybe a wit beer, you tend to go for like a seafood and or a rich porter with grilled meats or chocolate desserts. Those are just some of those more generalized pairings that once you start to do it more, you're going to be like, oh yeah, light, seafood, dark, roasted, right? It's like you're looking more at those complementary flavors.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And to wrap this up here, don't forget to share and learn more, right? Like you can't really do this wrong. You're learning about the different beers. Don't be scared to jump and dive in and try some stuff out. If you go into a brewery that's like not very busy, like a lot of times it's really easy to get a lot of good notes and comments and talk with bartenders to keep learning more. Sometimes they might get a little spicy at you on a busy day, but in general, not one they shouldn't, but it happens.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And we talked about before, we've got our affiliate program down here, the Micro Beer Bug Club of the Month. All these beers were actually selected by brewmasters and beer judges. They have 100% satisfaction guarantee. This is a great way for you to get a good variety of beer. You know they're good quality. You don't have to worry about, well, maybe I just got a really bad one of this style. And it's a great way to learn. So again, like if you want to click that link, it's at the very bottom. It's a great way to support the page, and it gives you a chance to a really low friction, take a lot of the stress off, get some really good beers delivered right to your door. So that's super nice. I don't know exactly. Liz got me and Kevin this for Christmas. I don't know when the first delivery is coming up. Yeah, so we'll bust them out.
In January.
We'll bust them out with the new set next week. We've got new stuff coming. Woo-hoo-hoo. Pretty excited about it. We'll check those out. We'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that is it for. I'm excited to see those, by the way. Yeah, just to go through the whole process. New is always exciting. But that is it for the Ale Academy this week. We sure do hope these tips are helpful and they help you become more beer savvy and enhance your tasting adventures as you're out there in the world. I mean, that's the point. Like Chelsea said, a big part of that is making sure to share, right? Talk about it. It's a super fun community to be a part of.
Yeah, no, try not to be scared. I get it. It's intimidating, but
how can you be scared?
Just drink more beer and then you'll have liquid courage. It's fine.
Yeah, loosen you right up.
So we'll just dive right in to the brew news. Brew news. Hey, Liz.
Your introduction is getting better and better.
Is it? I feel like that was kind of weak. I'm still recovering.
We'll try again. Yeah, that's fair.
Brew news. Oh, I got a reducing noise and notification. I went too high. I didn't like it.
Oh. I don't know what happened. I just became a blackhead all of a sudden.
You became a log.
A log head.
A log head. Oh, man. All right. Brew News is dedicated to bringing you the latest in craft beer. Focus on local highlights, industry-wide trends. We handpick these topics from the most buzzworthy articles of the last week, ensuring you stay informed and engaged within the space.
That's right. First up, this one was super fun. Chelsea's been sending me lots of articles from her world of beer.
I've been crushing these articles lately.
Thank you. I do appreciate it. It takes about 50% reading off my plate, and I thank you for that. I do love reading, but I appreciate it. Okay, this one is from phys.org, PHYS.
Like physique. Yeah.
Or physics.
Or physics.
Isn't that one of your household favorites?
Well, yeah. I had a moment the other day that I was like, I was trying to... I made pasta with the basil, frozen basil oil from your mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I needed to thaw it.
You're going to throw up.
Oh, I might.
Please don't.
Because I got around. So I went to thaw it and I was like, here's the smallest bowl it can fit in. And I was going to put boiling water to thaw it. And I was like, oh, lovely. It fits so nicely. And I went, that's not how physics works. I need a bigger bowl so the water stays hotter longer. And I was like, damn it.
At least part of him is wearing off on you.
Physics. I had a baby. I think that counts.
Okay, well, I wasn't going to go there, but you sure did. Wait,
Uh,
let me just.
oh,
There we go.
God. What,
Now I got my emotional support cat now.
Here, use that
After
while you're.
hearing that joke.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Do I have beer goggles on here?
yeah.
Okay, so for the phys.org news, facial symmetry doesn't explain beer goggles, research shows. So the phenomenon known as beer goggles, where alcohol consumption is thought to make faces appear more attractive and doesn't significantly affect perceptions of facial symmetry. I'm learning something new for sure. The research they did experimented with participants viewing faces at different levels of intoxication, concluding that alcohol didn't notably change the perception of facial symmetry, which is kind of a bummer. I thought it would. But the findings challenge the common notion of beer goggles affecting how we perceive others' attractiveness. So I guess it's not a thing. So you can't blame the twos that you been waking up to in the morning on beer goggles anymore. Turns out that's just the preference you actually have.
Yeah, I feel like I read it as they were like, you don't actually get better looking as people don't get better looking as you drink. You just stop caring about how they look.
That's exactly. That's why I say it's like your choice to wake up next to, a werewolf or whatever. Next to this guy here. Hey. But you never know. I sometimes have fantasized about pirates, so that's a thing.
That's a thing. Good for you. You thought my joke was bad. Arr, a fantasy.
Whatever. Yeah, right.
Arr.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, like I thought that was a fun article. I was like, that's kind of funny and
Thank
silly.
you.
I guess I don't know if I totally thought of beer goggles as, I guess like the joke was that it made people more attractive, but I think I always kind of assumed it was just a lack of inhibition at that point. Like
It is.
your caring is less. So I didn't necessarily find
But
it
now
to be
we know for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't a
Now we know for
profound
sure it's been
article,
science.
but it's been science. It's officially science. I
Your
love that.
symmetry does not actually change
Not when there's
based
two of you.
on the goggles.
Yeah, it doesn't fix it. In
So if
other
I was
news,
doing this,
we're never gonna be able to do a remote episode again.
whatever, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
All right, go ahead.
I love it. I'm trying to figure out how we can do it in our normal episodes.
Oh yeah.
And
Sit in a
in other
different room.
news, Left Hand Brewing introduced a Belgian white nitro, the
White
world's first
night.
bottled wheat beer with nitrogen. Yeah. I feel like I have a hard time not looking at your eyes and like trying to remember to look at the camera. Introduced the new white nitro Belgian style white ale infused with nitro. This beer is distinguished by its creamy texture achieved through the nitrogen, and it offers a unique twist on the Belgian wheat ales. The white nitro combines the smoothness of a nitro beer with the characteristic flavors of a Belgian white, including notes of orange peel, coriander. The innovative brewing approach aims to provide a refreshing and flavorful experience for all who are drinking. I will try it.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
Yeah,
Absolutely am.
I really like nitros, like a lot.
We may.
I don't really like Belgian whites though. Also kind of a lot. But I will.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of hoping for that kind of orange pop approach, right? The little push up. Like I hope the
Oh,
orange
yeah.
really comes across in
That's fair.
the creaminess, right? I mean, I like coriander as well. I like Belgians a little bit more than you do, though. I think
Yeah, I agree.
like that funk.
I like when they're funky. I
Anyway.
don't like the Belgian whites specifically, and I don't
Sorry.
always like saisons. I've started liking them more, but I think at least the ones I've been having lately seem to be a bit more like Belgian traditional versus so over the top with the flavors. That like I feel like we in the Americas really like to hoorah over top on things, and once they kind of
Right.
started chilling out, I know. Once they started chilling them out a little bit
Only
more, I
in
started liking them
Texas.
more. Especially in Texas.
Right.
So yeah, I will try it.
Oh, definitely try it.
I don't know how I feel about it, but we'll give it a shot. I'm not a great person to give a good review on it because it's not a style that I like. So like, just because I would be like, "Ooh, I don't like it," doesn't mean it's a bad beer by any means.
Yeah. Well, if we get to it, I would like to get over to Left Hand. Haven't been there a little while. See how it is.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right. Our third article, Tivoli in Denver, apparently wants to play in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is exciting.
This is
with
cool.
Outlaw Mile High. Yeah.
Hoorah.
Yeah, this was like your last minute one. I was like, I can replace that other article. You're right. Anyway, it was
You
great.
did the same article twice. Technically,
Well-
technically, I improvised it in last week. So
And that's how I rationalized it in my head. I was like, well, we could get into it a little more. And then you're like, screw it, just get rid of it. And then I was like, cool, we'll only do 2. And then you sent me another one. I went, oh, well, I guess I'll go read this one.
do 3 still.
Yeah. All right. So Tivoli Brewing Company is boldly going against the major beer corporations like Bud, Miller, and Coors with its Outlaw Mile High beer. It's exciting. CEO Ari Opsal, a former AB InBev exec, believes there is room for new brands in the light beer category and has focused on making Outlaw Mile High a significant part of Tivoli's production. I bet he's been reading the same articles we have when it comes to simplicity and light lagers.
I'm going to guess he's listening to our podcast and taking.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's
That's
most
what
likely
it is. I should have made myself a log head again. All right. So Tivoli has shifted its operations from the Auraria campus to the larger Gold Buckle Beer facility in, is it La Junta? I don't know how to say that. La Junta. In order to achieve their scale and efficiency they're hoping for. Strategy includes making that lighter beer competitive with big brands and expanding Tivoli's production to 250,000 barrels annually in order to gain buying power and get competitive.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Tivoli is the oldest brewery in Colorado. I'm pretty positive.
Older than Coors?
I think so. I think it's the first probably craft brewery.
Yeah.
You know, all the different segments of, but it's up there. It's a hella old sucker, that's for sure.
It's pretty. I have some cool pictures of Tivoli there at, is it at Metro or?
Yeah, constructed in 1864. The Tivoli Brewery in Denver was the first brewery built in Colorado and the second in the nation.
Goddamn. Way to go, Tivoli.
Yeah. I didn't know it was the second. Oh, we should do like a fun little video there.
I would love to do a Tivoli tour. I haven't done that. And I like to say that Tivoli tour.
Tivoli tour. Neat. This is like an interesting, I like one that they're like kind of have ideas of how to jump up and compete. My guess is with the Bud Light downfall, it was probably a big part of their like, hey, there's a market we can jump into. Modelo wasn't able to keep up, so it just shows that there's a need for something of this size, and the breweries to be able to jump in, and other breweries to start tapping into that light lager world. And I
Yeah.
think because they have that second oldest brewery in the country stamp of approval, like I think it's a really good move on their
Sure.
part. That I think
Gives
if they were
them clout.
younger, they wouldn't necessarily be able to pull that off. But I think that's going to be a big marketing pull for people that are like, yeah, these guys know what they're doing. And it'll like, what I think it'll adjust is it's going to kind of give it that craft beer vibe to a large array of people. Because they're going to add what I think of why I love craft and like the stories and the history and the tales, all these like fun little quirks about it. That's what people are going to kind of get that nostalgic like support feel. And that's kind of cool. It'll be interesting to see if they can pull it off. Man, I haven't been to Tivoli since I went to school down there.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's an ambitious plan, and good luck. Of course, I'm sure they'll do really well, especially if they've got a former AB and Bev.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Brains. They should be okay.
Cool. Well, yeah,
and just to kind of
Florida and Texas are their big markets, right? So again, it makes sense.
That's what I was going to go to.
Yeah, like one, it makes sense because I'm sure that's where the bulk of like these lighter beers are being drank. But again, you're kind of able to hit that nostalgia of I can almost guarantee I can like kind of visualize what the branding is going to be on this beer, and it's not going to be hip and cool. It's going to be like America, with first brewery in Colorado.
Is that not hip and cool?
I think of all of the hazy cans that are popping with fun colors and they're bright and like fun bubbly fonts from like the 60s.
Yeah.
This is gonna be like, this is a beer.
I see.
Drink beer because you like beer.
Well, it'll probably be a very simple design, right? Very conservative approach, as a lot of the hazies out there. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a different market.
It's a different market. Yeah, there's nothing like wrong about it. It's just a different market.
Yeah.
Like,
Right on. Yeah, I'm excited for
those
that.
lager ones. Yeah. So that was cool. It'd be interesting to see how they span up. It would be super cool. Maybe when you get back, we should try to go do a tour there and check it out. Maybe we can even find someone to
calendar. Put it on the calendar. Yeah, Outlaw Mile High.
I don't know if I know
is
anyone.
What it's called. I'm sure we could find somebody.
I'm sure.
And it's a Kolschist, so that should do really well as well.
A little more, crackery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be good.
I like
Those
that
not too sweet. I love a good lager, but I don't like when they're sweet.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think I drank like 6 Coors Lights yesterday.
I figured it was Hams. I was going to ask you what you've been drinking up in the old South Dakotas.
Yeah, well, we went bowling yesterday at the Riverview Lanes, at the Plains in Huron, South Dakota, and so you can get buckets of beer right while you're bowling. And I actually worked there for a little bit.
Is it the same place you look?
Oh yeah. I got to see old man Big D.
Oh, what a Big D!
Yeah,
how's he doing?
It was fun. Good. He seemed good. He seemed happy, which is good.
Good.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it tasted like water, delicious water, right? But I just like that flavor a little bit better. But I was just surprised how many I was able to get down. But I have been drinking a lot of heavier beers. 'Tis the season, and at higher altitude. So,
yeah, the whole heavier on every level.
Yeah, but I felt it this morning. So there you go.
Yeah,
I guess it catches up with you eventually.
Yeah, it always does when you drink 6 of anything, unless it's straight up water.
Yeah, I drank 6 sips.
6 sips. Oh, well, cool. Well, I'll give it a pod, Tivoli. Keep up on that story. Give you guys updates as it keeps progressing, and maybe we can get into a cool little interview or something there. But for right now, no interviews, only optimistic inquiries, also known as Q&A.
Also, community stories. Ooh,
and community stories. It's just all of the names. We're just gonna make a big abbreviation for it all.
A little bit different this week, so we hope you like it.
Yeah, a little bit off, not off, a little bit different. Like you said, We grab these stories, are these questions from either comments that are left to us, or we pull them from some of like the craft beer communities that we are part of, and try to hit on topics that we know people have questions about and are interested in. So let's get some heartwarming beer stories here this week, Liz. What do you got for us?
Let's do it. All right. Actually, this is going to be super community focused. Our first question comes in from Jenna. Jenna, who asks, what's the best way to store beer at home to keep it fresh?
Yeah.
Awesome question. Makes
Great
sense.
question.
Refrigerator. Yep. Okay, moving on. But kind of. Anyway, ideally, you want to store your beer in a cool and dark place. Prevents the light and the heat from affecting the flavor of the beer.
Yep.
And if it's a beer that benefits from aging, like a stout, a cool cellar or a fridge, as I said, works fabulously.
So you don't always want to keep them as cold as a fridge. So unless you have a broken ass fridge like ours that is actually perfect for storing dark beers, because it keeps it at like right at that 55 degrees. Our broke ass fridge is perfect for that.
Who would have thought?
Well, couldn't get rid of it, not just because I can't move it. Thing's so heavy. We moved it in. Remember the mover guys were like, "That son of a bitch is
never coming out of your basement." Yeah.
We were like, "Shit. All right, well, whatever. We'll build it into a bar." And then it broke, and we're like, "Oh, we're not going to build it into a bar now." Dang. All right, so hopefully that covers the question of how to store your beer. Keep them upright, keep them cold, keep them dark. You don't want them to get light struck and then they get skunky and gross. Ew.
No bueno.
No bueno. Another question from Emily. How do you know when to try a new beer style? I usually stick to lagers. Honestly, I'm going to say jump into flights and make sure usually flights are in four or five, and keep at least one that's a lager, or keep two if they have two lagers that are on. Yeah. That way you're kind of experimenting with some things, but you still have your go-tos you can get back to, so you don't feel like you committed. Whenever I do a flight, I almost throw on every time a beer that I assume I'm going to hate. If there's something on the menu that either I'm like, that's super weird, or that sounds awful, I will always throw it on because they're like 4 ounce pours. Who cares? Give it a shot. Maybe you might find something crazy and new, and it has happened more times than not. So kind of the same concept of make sure you have some that you like. You don't want to do a whole flight. I wouldn't do everything that was weird unless I'm sharing it with someone, because I don't want to just hate my whole experience. But get one or two of the lagers you're going to go back to and then get some sippers and just try it out. Or if you like to go to the same brewery, get your pint and get a little taster size next to it. And just sip on something, and every time you go in, try a new beer with your pint, and you can swish it down with your lager if you decide you don't like it. Or to drink it.
I was going to say that, yeah.
You don't have to drink beer.
You're an adult. Sorry, there is no room for bad beer.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's like $2 if you're out, and whatever. But I would say always be trying new beers. That's how I would push it, right? You got to think, if you have 4 tasters at 4 ounces, that's a pint. But you can try 4 beers with the same amount of volume as just having one. And that's how I like to think of it, because I like to try a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, truly in the spirit of craft beer, Chelsea. Well done. Exploration at its finest.
Thank you. Yeah. I would jump into Pilsners, wheats. Those are going to kind of keep it on the light side. Maybe a session IPA if you want to start dabbling into the hoppy beers. You've got sours we can jump into, but yeah, lots of options if you want to start just trickling your way through.
That's right.
Enjoy, Emily. I hope you have a lovely time trying a bunch of new beers.
Yeah, kind of jealous and not at the same time.
I just had a flight the other day, so
yeah, I know, right? I do the same thing, unless I know I'm really craving something, then
yeah, that's fair.
That's what I want.
Usually a tiny kind of space.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of us at a table. I don't want to be nobody talk to me. I'm trying 4 beers.
Yeah, why would I? That is not a thing. Conversation and drinking is hand in hand. It's like coffee and cigarettes. Where's my pirate outfit? Hold on.
Where's my pirate outfit?
Okay. So this next one, Tyler in Boulder, Colorado. What's up, Tyler? So they shared how their grandfather used to make a homemade ale every Christmas, and the recipe has been passed down for generations, apparently, which is pretty awesome. So Tyler is continuing the tradition, brewing this special ale every year.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome. I wish we didn't really get a lot of tidbits into it, but wonder what style it is, and I mean, other than an ale.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
like,
well,
what's the
suppose they'll keep reaching out.
Yeah, like I love that.
Maybe you could send us some.
Ooh, hey Tyler, you can be our beer of the month of the Sipisode, which we don't have today. You're hungover and I'm recovering from being sick, so neither of us are drinking beer.
That's okay. It's New Year's Eve. I'm gonna hair of the dog it pretty soon.
Yeah, you'll get there. You talked about getting a red beer, and I was like, well, that sounds pretty good.
Well, I still might. You might see me get up and go make it.
I love a red beer. That's
maybe
my favorite breakfast
drop
beer.
a shot of whiskey in there. Call it a Boilermaker. Let's go.
Let's go. You'll be feeling just fine. You won't get off of the pirate. You'll be a pirate the whole time.
I'll just be sporting my patch all day.
Arr. With some whiskey.
Which quickly transitions into Spaceman.
I remember I sent my dad the video over COVID with the Spaceman. And I was like,
He was like, "Are you high?"
Yeah, he goes, "How many gummies did you eat today?" And I was like, "None. It's just COVID, and we haven't left the house in 6 weeks." Oh, okay. So Tyler, I love it. Hope that you keep the tradition going and keep passing it down generations. And I think it's a really cool thing, and I think that's a really special story that very few people have, and that's awesome. Another story from Alicia in Bend, Oregon, talked about meeting their husband at a local brewery trivia night, where they started as a friendly competition over beer trivia, has actually turned into a beautiful marriage, and it shows how beer can bring people together.
See, coffee and cigarettes, beer trivia and marriage. I'm gonna go get ordained.
It's like a good way to see if you're on the same intelligent level real quick. Not really. Trivia is a whole different beast. I'm terrible at trivia.
Yeah.
I feel like we're like when Liz and I are good trivia buddies is because I'm like, oh, it's that person from this other movie. Like, oh, they do this thing. And Liz is like, got it. And like writes it out. Like, you nail it. I like tee it up for you. I do that with Kevin, and Kevin's like, I don't even know what movie you're talking about. I'm like, I know. It's terrible.
But if it's physics.
It's physics. We have a good rounded team. Like Liz and I can usually crush pop culture and sports, which I know a lot of you are probably very surprised. Kevin's all about geography and physics. And then we if we get lucky enough to throw in some other friends, usually we have a good history person in there, and then we do okay. You also are helpful in the literature, if they have a literature one, because I am not at all. So we had a good rounded team when we trivia it up. We should do that more. We should do a trivia night.
Sure, Troy and Kate are always inviting us.
Yeah, they're so far away. But we should do a trivia night. That'd be fun.
We totally should. Let's see. Yeah, let's see, Tyler, Alicia, thank you. So the stories are super cool to read, right? And as we're talking here, they really highlight that community and connections built around beer, right? Whether it's preserving, again, those family traditions or making new friends, maybe a husband or a wife, who knows? Beer has this kind of a unique way of creating and strengthening these bonds. And I love it for it. Absolutely.
I agree. Well, that wraps up our Q&A. I think you summarized that nicely. I see I have another couple lines, but you don't need it. You did it great. You just summarized it up. It was lovely. Lovely. So yeah, we're going to keep moving this sucker forward.
Make myself a South Dakota martini, also known as a red beer.
It's like, is the martini? I thought it was a Bloody Mary.
Do it.
Main segment. Because of the new year, And often health is on a lot of our minds as everyone starts getting their New Year's resolutions started and going. Let's remind everyone about take an opportunity to remind everyone about being responsible and conscientious while enjoying a delicious craft brew. There's no secret that many of us enjoy a good beer, but how do we balance this with a healthy lifestyle? Liz, get us started. What's your thoughts on this? How do you balance and how do you be healthy? This is actually a good one for you because you've been a workout machine lately.
Oh, thank you. And I'm going to mix in a little bit of dry January with that. So it's going to be good, right? It always, we're always going to talk about moderation, right? We brought that up, and understanding, beer, like any indulgence, right? It can be a part of a healthy lifestyle. And enjoyed responsibly. As Ma comes down to say hey. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'll go back up.
I mean, you could stay and watch.
Oh, no, that's fine.
All right, almost done.
Are you podcasting?
Almost done.
So cute. I love you, Mom.
I know. And I want to go hang out, but we're almost done. All right.
Start from the top.
Question. Yeah. Coming from the top. Yeah, that's a great question. And thank you. We're going to mix it in with a little bit of a dry January as well. It's all about moderation and understanding, right? Beer, like any indulgence, can be a part of a healthy lifestyle when enjoyed responsibly, right? Many people don't realize that beer actually has some health benefits when consumed in moderation.
I would like to say I didn't know this, but this has been my excuse for making sure to have a beer every day. So, and we'll note that this is recorded. This is recorded before dry January.
It is. It's New Year's Eve.
You're not drying very well.
This is Kool-Aid.
It's Kool-Aid. It's tomato flavored Kool-Aid. So beer contains antioxidants and vitamins, especially in the rich malts like stouts and porters. I don't know if you guys remember our little episode on Guinness. There can be protein elements as well, and the antioxidants can contribute to a healthy heart. Like malts, grains, barleys, all of those. I mean, you think you get like your grainy breads. Those tend to be healthier than your white bread because you're getting more nutrients in on it. So
less processed, more nutrients.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about the social and mental health benefits of enjoying a beer with friends or family. And it's about the experience and the enjoyment, which is also a key part of, our overall well-being. Get out there and socialize. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. It's important to be aware of the calorie content. Craft beers, especially those with higher ABVs, alcohol by volume. I don't know why I stuttered all over that, but I did. And added flavors can increase the calories. So balancing that with a healthy lifestyle. So if you are looking at like a lower calorie going on like your lighter beers, your like lagers, your pilsners, they're going to have less to them. There's no surprise than like a triple layer cake pastry stout that also has like lactose and milk and everything in it, right? Like so if you just look at the names, it's kind of which beers are less healthy for you, but doesn't make them any less good. Just maybe drink like one of those versus four of those, and
or share it.
Yeah, or share it. Love a share, or get a taster of it while you do a lighter beer with it. Right? Any way you can kind of start reducing those calories down, and just being a little bit more conscientious this month. Like we're not here to tell you to stop drinking. That would not behoove us in general as a beer-related podcast, and we're also not going to stop drinking because we love beer, but just kind of some ways that you can have a couple little tricks to like moderate a little bit better.
That's right. And we don't call it Body by Beer for nothing, so we're not going anywhere. Yeah. I like this part, just mentioning to people that, staying active and pairing beer with healthy food choices makes a huge difference, right? So if you do find yourself with that pastry stout, maybe a salad with it would less calorie content, right? Also, like there are, or some lean chicken, right? Or tofu, whatever. There are some amazing rec league, beer league, whatever out there. You have heard us talk about our volleyball and maybe a little softball extravaganza, right? Get out there, get moving. Again, it's about that community, creating those memories. You can do so in moderation, be active, and make smart choices.
Yeah.
Super important to remember. I mean, call it what you will, but I love a good beer league. It's so much fun.
They're so much fun.
and
And I feel like we're not necessarily newer to it, but we've been doing softball for, oh my God, what do we say? Like since 2008.
6 years?
At this
Yeah,
point.
maybe 6 years.
So quite a while, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it was definitely out of sports for a long time. It's been really fun getting back in. And then Kevin and I just did pairs and volleyball the other night.
Yeah,
So much fun. We got our asses kicked, but it was so
we
much fun.
did. It's exhausting.
It also was like a double whammy because I ended up with the stomach flu the next day. So it was hard to know what was sore from what, but everything was sore. It was a lot of fun. We actually did pretty good. We went on it was one of those days that like I was not bummed that like we'd get in the car and I'd be like, I played really well. Like obviously there's things that can be improved on, but overall, like I played really well and I was moving well.
Yes.
Brad was like, oh, you're playing against like someone in a similar rank. We played the number 4 team. Coaches at Oasis or the Sandbox or whatever it is, like the original, she coaches down there. We're like, and then the guy was huge and a massive hitter. But we like adjusted. He just kept smashing it down the middle. And I was like, Kevin, I'll start getting into the middle. So at least hopefully I can bop it up so you're not getting this direct like smash at you. Like he's hitting higher than he's going to like hit me in the face, but I might be able to hit it up. And it made him either have to boop, which somehow I was fast enough to get there. I think having the smaller court, or he would just smash it to the other corner and we'd get wrecked on it. But at least took him out of him just like smashing it like cross court.
That's what you got to do.
Right? It was really cool that we liked it. And the only reason, honestly, I think we made it to double digits every game was because they started practicing stuff they weren't very good at. That's what it's supposed to be, right? Like when you're kicking someone's ass, you don't need to keep kicking their ass. Like start working on some other skills.
Exactly.
And I hate when teams just come in and just keep massacring people. You're like, just like chill out and work on something different. So they were super fun. Like totally people that I feel like we like made friends with. They were a great time. And
Well,
I was
do you remember their name?
No, I do not.
That's all right. But you signed up for like to do doubles regularly?
We didn't because the season started, but I think we might jump in and do that. But I don't know how that's going to favor for my softball career. It's 3 nights in a row of sports. I'm too old for that nonsense. Let's get my
Maybe
knee
one or
fixed.
the other, you know?
I know. But it was really fun. Like I really enjoyed it. Like it was hard. And definitely by the end, I was like, the 3rd game, I was like, I am not in shape for this. But working on it.
Yeah.
Working on it. So it's fun. Anyways. Part of playing sports and being health conscientious and drinking beer at the same time is you got to offset that with some water or some Gatorade, whatever you want to do. Probably not Gatorade because you're already getting extra calories in from your beer. I do some water. Alternate between a glass of beer, glass of water, and helps you keep hydrated. And also helps kind of chill you out. You don't tend to get as hungover or drunk as quickly. It kind of just balances out the whole body.
Yeah, and I'll add to that too, because I forgot to say it, is there's also a lot of fantastic low alcohol or non-alcoholic craft beers out there that they don't compromise on the flavor. They're really good. They do a great job, and we're going to get into that more with our beer and food pairing. Obviously, I'm really excited to get there. I'm all about those hops. Hops. All right. Hops. Okay, and mental health, right? Okay, we got to start the year off right, and if our head isn't into it, well, good luck with the rest of it.
Sure.
So, yeah, right? Like, so while enjoying a beer is a great way to relax, it's important not to rely on alcohol, right, as a stress reliever. Now we're just using it as a crutch, and that's no good. But being mindful of why and how we enjoy our beers is crucial for a healthy relationship with alcohol, right? It's a slippery slope. So just be honest with yourself. You know, if you enjoy beer, then enjoy it. But, you know, do your best not to take it too far because it can get out of hand really quick. And, you know, hopefully you've built yourself a really good community, especially in the craft brew community, to help out if things do tend to go perhaps in a direction that isn't as positive for your life. You got some people around to help you up, because that's going to be really important too. But get your head right or keep it in the right place, and it should be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's great advice there, Lizzie. I think that's super important. I think my favorite part that you touched on is being honest with yourself on like why you're drinking, right? Like, are you using it to relax, which like isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just like kind of depends on to the extent that you're using it to relax. If that's the only way you can relax, then maybe like try to find some other things, explore out. But there's nothing wrong with being like, man, at the end of the day, I just want a beer and I want some bubbles. I definitely have noticed within myself, like if I'm in a bad mood, I don't tend to like to drink. I like to, like there's times when if I'm stressed, I'm like, oh my God, I just want like the bubbles. When I like drink a light beer really quickly, but I try not to overindulge in those. Try not to get rid of the stress as much as, like I need like a change of flavors after drinking water all day. Like I'm such a water hound that a lot of times I feel like it hits the like point of the day where I'm stressed. I'm kind of over things. I just need like a little refresh. Like let's get some flavor. Let's get some bubbles. Let's enjoy something a little bit new. Take a couple moments to appreciate it, and then get like back into the grind. But it's not let's pour and then try to get back into the grind, because that doesn't work out for anybody.
It doesn't. And if it does, it's only for a little bit.
Yeah.
So
there
is that.
End of the day, that's our take on beer and health. Remember, it's all about balance, moderation, and enjoying the experience.
All right, beer lovers, it's time for some beer facts with Chelsea here, the Sips of Wisdom segment, where we chat about fun facts about beer. Take it away, Chelsea.
Love some fun facts. Just did a big old video on the Prohibition. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's just all sorts of good stuff. But that's not what we're going to talk about today.
Okay, I was I feel like we've done that one.
We have, but oh man, I was excited to dive into it deeper. It was a good.
Yeah.
Like
it turned out really well.
Thank you. I was really pumped about it. I was working on that when you were like, "Hey, you ready to shoot this podcast?" And I was like, "Okay, fine."
Yeah.
Do you know? Like it took me a long time. I was thinking about trying to figure out what the DYK meant.
Did you know? Do you know?
You're doing these cool abbreviations. I mean, I'm not good enough.
It's because I've been trying to write 40 character titles.
Fair. Being hip. Do you know that in Belgium there is a beer pipeline? Yeah, this is big with the funnel, the beer. Oh, I can't think of what that's called.
Beer bong?
A beer bong. Thank you. It's like it's not a beer funnel. All right, the De Have Man Brewery. Am I saying that right? De Have
name.
Man, 2 A's, brewing in, I don't know how to say this either.
Bruges.
Okay, we're going to start this one over. I meant to ask you to say all this stuff
I think
before.
it's De Halfman Brewery in Bruges. Bruges?
All right.
Bruges?
All right.
Hold on.
Okay, we'll look it up quick.
At least got to get Bruges right.
I think it's just Bruges. I don't think it's Bruges.
Bruges.
Just Bruges? Okay.
Just Bruges. All right.
De Have Man Brewery. De Have? Man. I'm going to do Man. All right.
It might be the Half Man Brewery.
Have Man. De Have Man. All right. Elizabeth, did you know in Belgium there is a beer pipeline?
What? Just waterboard me with beer in a pipeline.
The De Halfman Brewery. I forgot how we say it again. In
Bruges.
Bruges, thank you. In Bruges, the De Halfman Brewery in Bruges installed an underground pipeline to transport beer from the brewery to the bottling plant, spanning over 3 kilometers. How many is that in miles?
It's like almost 2 miles.
Almost 2 miles, which is, I It doesn't make any sense.
What?
Like, I feel like when you have long draft lines, it makes the beer shitty.
Right. So
Shitty,
I
but
was
it's a
telling
lot
my
better.
mom about it, or Michelle, both of them, and she was like, how do they clean it? And I said, well, I didn't get into that in the fun fact part, but
Fair.
I bet it sucks.
I bet it sucks. Yeah. Right. That would be interesting.
Or
We'll
it's
look
great.
into this one more. It's a great one. Yeah. So the pipeline was completed 2016. Stretches almost 2 miles from the brewery to its bottling plant. It was developed to alleviate the logistical challenges of transporting beer through the city's narrow, cobbled
Right.
streets. It shook the shit out of the beer, so they don't want that anymore.
Yeah, that's you.
The pipeline is 34 meters deep at its lowest point and was partially funded by a crowdfunding campaign, drawing
Nice.
significant support from beer enthusiasts. If I'd have known about it, I'd have been offering some cash to them as well.
Hell yeah.
But I didn't until now. The pipeline can carry different types of beer produced by the brewery. So yeah, they pump them all through. It's Bruges Zot and Straff
Hendrick? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it says in separate pipes. So it makes me wonder how many different pipelines they have.
Yeah, well, I was thinking like that copper wiring, right? You have the shell, and then like any electrical, you've got the different
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
wires that you gotta kind of like that.
Yeah. Oh, and they have the Fool of Bruges. 4 different types of malt hop variety. Oh, you went to it's got all of the different flavors of beer. How am I going to read all
I
that?
see you read this one really well.
I did. I remember I told you I liked it all, but I think I skimmed over this part because I was like, I'm going to have to read it anyways.
Totally up to you. Sent me on a bit of a tangent on some just really fun facts about beer. And I was like, Chelsea, I love this, right? So I started a whole new tab. So up to you. We could start it again. You can read it. You don't have to, but I like it. I do like it.
So Bruises Zot is one of the beers that they transport through these pipeline. It's a blonde, and within itself, it's a Flemish gold beer. It's blonde in color. Translate to the fool of Bruges. The Fool of Bruges is produced by brewing 4 different types of malt and 2 varieties of hop. The only beer that's brewed and lagered in Bruges itself.
Cool.
That is cool. I feel like they should have just made their bottling line closer.
Yeah, no shit. Like, I want to read more about that.
Right?
Why is it so far away?
Sounds like a trip we need to take. Business expense.
Yeah, why didn't we go there the first time?
We'll do it next time. The Straff Hendrick, which is one of the other beers that they pump through the pipeline, is ambered color Belgian ale brewed with 6 different types of malts by the Half Moon Brewery in Bruges. It's a different brewery by the Half Moon Brewery.
Yep.
So different breweries pump different beer through these pipelines.
Yes. Yes. In Belgium, there's a beer pipeline, but the Halve man installed the pipeline.
Gotcha. Following now. I think one of them we
So
said
multiple
beer.
breweries can use it.
Oh, all right. So the Half Moon Brewery is the last authentic triple style beer brewed in Bruges. It undergoes secondary fermentation in the bottle. So thank goodness it makes it to the bottling line.
Right?
The pipeline not only represents an innovative solution to a logistical problem, but also serves as a testament to Belgium's enduring love for beer. In addition to its practical function, the pipeline helped ensure that one of Belgium's oldest breweries could continue operating and distributing its beers efficiently. It's also a point of interest for tourists. When the brewery is offering guided tours, visitors can learn about this unique piece of brewing infrastructure and its history. So next time you swing through Bruges, perhaps it'd be a good spot to stop and learn some beer history. I think it's a great spot we need to stop by soon, even for a quick little trip. I think we should make that happen this next year.
Happy to go back to Belgium.
I know. I feel like I've learned so much about Belgium in this last year, and we didn't do it bad. I think we did the touristy version of Belgium. Like, we hit up some great breweries. Like, don't get me wrong, we hit up Cantillon and Tres Fontaine, and like we hit up some really good ones.
Delirium.
Delirium. Well,
Yeah.
there's one I was trying to think of that was like the sour bar specifically, but I feel like as I've learned
That was
more,
a tap house though, with the
Yep.
creeks. Yeah.
Yep. There's some really cool, it's like additional history. We didn't get into like the weeds of that would be fun too.
That's fair. But I am excited for you to read this next one. See how much
Is
you
there
follow
going to be a Viking filter you're going to pop up with? Let's talk about the Vikings and not the football team.
Ooh. Beer
They
bongs
believe-
out of Viking helmets. All right.
They believed in a mythical goat whose udders provided an endless supply of mead. Well, I can't say that's a legend I can get behind.
Yes, you can. These soldiers, they die and go to Valhalla, and there is endless mead. Why can't you get behind that legend? From a goat's udders. All right, get after it. All right.
According to Norse mythology, the goat named, I think you just said it, Heidrun.
Yep. I highlighted this.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't mean I still know how to read it. Grazes on the foliage of the tree Lyraharder.
Lyrotter.
That is not phonetically how I would spell Ryhotter for me to be able to read that.
I did my best.
And produces mead from her udders. This mead is provided for, dear Lord, for you just wanted
Just
to
say the warriors in Valhalla.
Okay, the mead is provided for the warriors of
I have to
Valhalla.
start again.
No, this is glorious. The majestic hall for those who died in battle. The story is mentioned in both Poetic Edda and the Rose Edda? Rose Edda, important sources of Norse mythology. This is just all up your alley. I don't know why you didn't read this one.
Well, 'cause I wanted to see what would
I know
happen.
you just wanted to
Beautiful.
see
I wish I would have
further.
got a bucket of popcorn.
Oh man. Hydrid stands above Valhalla.
Valhalla.
Valhalla. Oh man, you really set me up for failure on this one. And the mead she produces fills a cauldron large enough for the warriors to drink their fill. The depiction of Heidrun highlights the Vikings' respect and their reverence for animals, which played significant roles in their daily lives and mythologies. The endless supply of mead from the udders. Why are we saying this again? Perhaps fascinating examples of how animals are integrated in.
All right. Well, for the record, that was definitely like one of those Easter eggs that I hid inside the script that I was really excited to come across, because I wanted to see if Chelsea received the script in advance enough, and she would see that there were certain highlighted areas that perhaps I wanted her to focus on.
No.
The answer is no. And the point of this story is just like a fun fact that, you know what? Why wouldn't Vikings who died in battle upon death, when they go to Valhalla, get endless mead from the udder of a goat?
From the teat of a goat?
The teat of a goat. I mean, what a way to, I wouldn't, death would not be so scary. I'd be like, well, Heidrun's up there and her tits are filled of mead and I'm ready to go. I'm okay with that.
See, the thing is,
I might be a little derogatory. I don't know.
I read that you're like, oh, Vikings, a goat that's got endless, but that's cool. And I was like, sweet, all right, there's the facts about it. All right, President Jimmy Carter. All right, cool. Like, that is my briefing of the reading. That was, oh god. I thought maybe you were gonna jump in and read these hard words, but no. You're the mythological person. You a-hole.
I guess.
You guess. You knew I would stammer all over that.
I had a feeling.
Yep.
My goat senses were going off.
Is there a goat character? Because that would be sweet. All right.
Well,
One into hopefully I can read. President Jimmy Carter, oh, there he goes, signed a bill in 1978 that legalized home brewing beer in the United States. October
thank you,
14th,
Mr. Carter.
1978, he signed Bill H.R. 1337, which includes the federal legalization of home beer and winemaking. The bill primarily dealt with matters like exercise taxes on commercial transportation, but thanks to the effort of Senator Al Cranston and Representative William Strager, it's enough. Amendment that legalized home brewing was added, and it officially took place February 1979. And this is kind of interesting because, like, with all the prohibition stuff we did,
Yeah.
like home brewing wasn't like I feel like it wasn't ever fully illegal. It just wasn't like legal. Is what this kind of sounds like. Is then it was finally like, okay, we're actually going to make this legal. Before this legislation, home brewing, you said, is illegal at the federal level since the end of the prohibition. The concern has been that home brewing grain could be used to make moonshine, which is often toxic due to the impure ingredients in the clumsy distillation methods. The legalization in 1978 was a turning point, allowing individuals to brew up to 100 gallons per person per year or 200 gallons per household without federal taxation.
That's still a lot of beer.
There's a lot of beer. The move by Carter significantly impacted the craft beer industry as a lot of homebrewers legally experiment and develop their brewing skills. Many professional craft brewers today started as homebrewers. The American Homebrewer Association, founded by Charlie Papazena and another Charlie Matson, was established shortly after the bill signing, further promoting the growth of homebrewing as a hobby and a craft.
Woohoo! Thank you to all of those. Hell yeah.
This keeps doing the home brewing stuff. Yeah, it's like I get like on the federal level, like I think of it as like all the marijuana weed.
They're on top.
They're on pot. Right? Like some states had it legal, but then federally it was still illegal, and it was such a hot mess. Like we just like, and now I feel like it's like getting more, but I feel like that's kind of where home brewing started.
And if you get more into it, it basically goes on to say, I think it was Alabama and Mississippi. Yeah, they didn't actually legalize home brewing until 2013, right? So you're talking,
wow.
What is that, 45 years later?
Yeah.
No, 35 years later. That's a long ass time. Is that right? How do you do math?
It's 45.
80. Yeah, 45 years. Okay.
That'd be, yeah, almost 35. Right in the middle.
I said 35 the second time.
Yeah, I think it's 35. I don't know. I don't do math. I don't read.
I think it's 35. So anyway, that's a really long time to get through
Yeah.
all the states, right? When you're talking about marijuana, and now you've got the decriminalization of psilocybin. So
Yeah. Makes me wonder, like,
your oyster.
was it actually enforced there? Or was it just like, yeah, we don't need to put the effort into making this law? Because we don't
Space.
care.
Space now. Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, was it just like one of those, like, oh, I guess we'll finally like make this into a law, but it was never really enforced. It would be kind of my guess, but who knows?
Right.
All right. So I don't get to rate these. I would try to set you up for failure in your Brews and Bites, but you set yourself up for success. So congratulations.
Well, thank you so much. As I said earlier, I don't know. It's like a guilty pleasure of trying to watch you sound out a foreign word.
Do you pair with strawberries? What beer would you pair with strawberries?
Probably one of those wit beers that you're not into.
That's fair. That'd be a really good pairing.
Yeah, thank you. So that's why they pay me the big bucks.
Fair.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So Brews and Bites. Pretty excited about this one. Always excited about our eats and drinks for sure. Now, I don't know about all y'all, but at this point, I'm pretty much over all the delicious stouts, browns, and winter warmers that I've consumed over the last couple of months. It's been a wonderful time of the year, but I'm ready to kick it out of bed and move on to something else. So not to say that I don't love them, these stouts and browns, but I'm just taking a break. I do love a French fry. So as we were writing this, we asked ourselves, what would we want to eat and drink at this point in the new year? And some of you are going to journey down that dry January road. Fitness, consistency, and lighter fare. Maybe not French fries, but you do you. So we also want to include some NA options for you. And octopus here. You have an octopus on your head.
Where? Oh my God. That's so friendly.
Right.
Who's going to do the whole segment with this octopus?
I hope it starts winking at me.
I might. I was winking at you as a French fry. I was moving my eyebrows.
Couldn't tell you're too small.
I know.
All right.
This is funny.
So to make our pairing as simple to follow as possible for both dry January challengers and none, we've decided to pair an herb-crusted chicken, maybe a little arugula salad, right? Throw that spice in there, with a pilsner.
Ooh, I like where your head's at here.
Czech pilsner.
Yeah, all right.
And Saaz hops. So those typically using Saaz hops, right? Which are known for their mild, earthy, herbal, and floral characteristics. Yum.
Okay.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
So for those of you that are doing NA options, there's some great hop waters out there that you could find that put in the Saaz hops or some NA beers, right, that are pilsners that are maybe using these hops. I want to get a little bit more intricate because, well, one, it gives me an excuse to learn more and love the craft that the beer craft as I do, and I get to share with you.
Yeah.
So,
I like how you pieced these together this week.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I was pretty excited about it. I was like, oh, well, as a dry January challenger myself, that's going to help me out a lot because I sure do crave those hoppy flavors and bubbles. Can you get him shook off yet?
No, I thought maybe. It's really stuck on there.
Okay, so pairing an herb-crusted chicken and arugula salad with our pilsner that uses Saaz hops, here is our sensory experience. Sight, right? The visual contrast between the meal and the beer. The pilsner with its clear golden hue and persistent foamy head has that refreshing sight next to the golden brown crust of the chicken and the vivid green of the arugula salad. You got your greens, your browns, and your golden hue.
It's gonna
now, what does it smell like?
It's gonna look healthy.
Yeah, right. Very visually appealing. The smell, these Saaz hops have a distinct yet subtle aroma to the pilsner. It's that blend of earthy herbal notes with a hint of floral essence, perhaps. And then this bouquet complements the herbs crusting the chicken, such as thyme or rosemary. And depending on what recipe you use, there's a lot of great recipes out there. And then the fresh peppery scent of the arugula and or the spice that comes with it. So these smells should really get your taste buds excited. I know I'm excited just thinking about it. Maybe even got a Pavlov effect going on for sure.
Yeah. Like anytime you throw arugula in, I'm in. I love arugula. So good.
Yes. So good. All right. So our pilsner, known for its balanced flavor profile and mild sweetness with a light hot bitterness, so it's going to complement our herby chicken and the spicy, tangy arugula salad. The herbal notes of the Saaz hops should harmonize, and the herb crust on the kitchen chicken, the chicken kitchen, while the beer's crisp finish offers that refreshing counterpoint to the richness.
How does it feel to be set up for failure with someone's rating, huh?
Right? God, this writer, what a twat.
What a twat.
Okay. And then we've got our touch and texture. And let's see. So crisp, light body, carbonation of the Pilsner, providing a pleasing contrast to the textures in the meal. And then the crunchiness of the chicken crust and the fresh, slightly chewy texture of the arugula leaves. So this is engaging and both satisfying for our taste buds that are still salivating. And last but not least, in our sensory experience, the sounds always contribute an element to our pairing. Of course, there is the gentle fizz of the Pilsner as it pours into the glass, the crunch of the herb crust as you cut into your chicken, and the rustle of the fresh leaves as you mix the salad. I feel like, never mind, there was a tossed salad joke there, but
But near the teats of the goat.
Yes. Ooh. Valhalla. Here
But
I
you
come.
get behind that tossed salad joke.
Damn it. You can cut that.
Octopus says, keep it.
All right. Anyway, the sounds often get overlooked sometimes in these sensory experiences when we're talking about our beer and food pairing, but try not to because it is a very important dimension of the meal for sure. These sensory elements create our very much enjoyable pairing for the day. Our Pilsner with its sass hops in an excellent match for our herb crusted chicken and arugula salad, offering a balanced play of flavors, aromas, textures that enhance both the meal and the beer.
And kept you healthy. Kept you healthy.
Yeah.
That's a healthy meal if I've ever heard a healthy meal before.
Right? Salad, high protein, low fat.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pilsners are pretty low in cals.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I'm totally in on that meal. That sounds great.
Avoid the mayonnaise.
Oh, you're up in the Midwest. Do you avoid the mayonnaise on any meal right now?
Had mayonnaise for breakfast.
All right. I think that was a perfect meal pairing for this month to get people kicked off on their healthy trends and resolutions of the year. That's it. That's us. That's all we got. That's all, folks. Thanks for joining us on this reflective journey through beer and memory. Remember, it's not about what's in the glass. It's about the moments we create. And we went and talked about healthiness and got a bunch of fun facts I couldn't pronounce. It was great episode. Great episode, guys. Appreciate it.
Had a good time.
Thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in and supporting the podcast. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like, and share on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to follow us on all social medias at Body by Beer Podcast.
That's right. Cheers, everybody, to making some very memorable and healthy moments with us. Join us next time on the Body by Beer podcast for another episode full of insights and fun facts that Chelsea might be able to pronounce. Stay tuned to find out. We'll continue to explore more fascinating tales from around the world of beer. In the meantime, if you have any suggestions, questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the comment box below. Thank you for listening.
Yes, have a good New Year's, everyone, or hopefully
Happy New Year
by the time you see this. Bye.